William Harrison was rushing out of his house when he noticed a small figure sitting on the curb. His schedule was packed with important meetings, but something made him stop. It was a little girl hugging her knees, crying softly. When he got closer and saw the face behind the pink glasses, his heart skipped a beat. It was Chloe, his 8-year-old daughter, who was supposed to be at the most expensive private school in New York City right at that moment. "Chloe, sweetheart, what are you doing here?" he asked, kneeling on the sidewalk without a thought for his expensive suit. The girl lifted her tear-streaked face and looked at him with an expression he would never forget. "Daddy," she began, her voice trembling. "Mommy said you're not my real daddy." William's world came to a standstill. The words echoed in his mind like a thunderclap on a clear day. He felt his legs go weak and had to lean against the gate of his house. "What did you say, honey?" "I heard Mommy talking on the phone. She was angry and said you're not my real dad and that I shouldn't have even been born." William scooped his daughter into his arms, feeling her tremble against his chest. His mind raced, trying to process her words. Chloe was his little girl, his princess from day one. How could Eleanor have said such a thing? "Come on, let's go inside," he said, trying to keep his voice calm. Inside the house, he found Eleanor in the living room, nervously tapping on her phone. When she saw them walk in, her face went pale. "Chloe, where were you?" "The school called and said you ran off." "Eleanor, we need to talk," William said in a voice that left no room for argument. He took Chloe to her room and asked her to play while he talked with her mother. As soon as he came downstairs, he found Eleanor pacing back and forth in the living room. "William, I can explain." "Then explain." "Our daughter just told me she heard you on the phone saying I'm not her father. Is it true?" Eleanor avoided his gaze. "I was upset arguing with my sister. You know how she is, always provoking me about our life." "Your sister, Eleanor? You've always told me you were an only child." She stammered. "She's a half-sister from when my parents were separated. We don't get along." William felt there was more to the story. In 15 years of marriage, Eleanor had never mentioned a sister. "And why would you say that about me not being Chloe's father?" "I didn't say that, you're misunderstanding." At that moment, Grace, the housekeeper who had been with them for years, entered the living room to serve coffee. William knew her well and noticed her uncomfortable expression. "Grace," he called to her, "did you overhear any conversations here today?" The woman hesitated, glancing at Eleanor. "You can speak freely," William insisted. "I did, Mr. Harrison. Mrs. Harrison was on the phone, very agitated. I heard when she said you weren't the girl's real father and that it was for the best." Eleanor's face turned red. "Grace, you didn't understand the context." "What context, Eleanor?" William was losing his patience. "What context justifies you saying I'm not the father of my own daughter?" Dear listener, if you're enjoying this story, please take a moment to leave a like and, most importantly, subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out as we're just getting started. Now back to the story. The silence that followed was heavy. William looked at his wife as if seeing her for the first time. Eleanor had always been private about her family, but now he began to question everything. "I'm picking Chloe up from school tomorrow, and the three of us are going to have a proper talk," William said finally. "Please, you're making a mountain out of a molehill." "A mountain out of a molehill? Our daughter ran away from school in tears because she heard you say I'm not her father." That night, William barely slept. He watched Chloe as she slept. The girl had light blonde hair and blue eyes, traits that didn't exist in his family or Eleanor's. He had always assumed she took after some distant relative, but now those differences bothered him. The next day, William cancelled all his meetings. When he arrived at the school to pick up Chloe, the principal asked to speak with him. "Mr. Harrison, Chloe ran out of her classroom in the middle of a lesson yesterday. Before that, some children had commented that she doesn't look like you." "Commented how?" "Children can be cruel sometimes. They said she looked very different from you, that maybe she was adopted." Chloe got very upset and ran out. William's blood ran cold. The children had only said what everyone could see, but no one dared to mention. At home, Chloe was quieter than usual. During dinner, she kept looking from him to Eleanor, as if trying to find answers in their faces. "Daddy," she said softly, "why don't I look like you?" William and Eleanor exchanged a tense glance. "Honey, you're beautiful just the way you are." "Kids don't always look like their parents," William replied, but even he noticed his voice sounded unsure. But Louis in my class has the same eyes as his dad, and Isabel has the same hair as her mom. I don't have anything like you guys. Eleanor stood up abruptly from the table. Chloe, go brush your teeth. It's time for bed. When the girl left, William stared at his wife. Eleanor, I want a paternity test. What, William? Have you lost your mind? I haven't lost my mind. I want to clear this up once and for all. If Chloe is my daughter, the test will prove it. If she's not what? Are you going to abandon the child you've raised for 8 years? I just want the truth. The truth is you're being ridiculous. I won't allow you to do a test like that. Eleanor's vehement refusal only deepened William's suspicions. In the following days, he started noticing things that had previously gone unseen. Eleanor had always been evasive about her pregnancy, claiming she didn't like to talk about that time because she had terrible morning sickness. He had never accompanied her to a doctor's appointment because he was always traveling for work. A week later, William was at the office of Dr. Richard Evans, the family doctor for years, for a routine checkup. During the appointment, he decided to bring it up. Doctor, did you oversee Eleanor's pregnancy? Of course. Why do you ask? Were there any complications? She always says she doesn't like to talk about it. Dr. Evans hesitated for a moment. William, there are some things a doctor must keep confidential even from the husband. What kinds of things? Your wife had some specific consultations about genetics. She wanted to understand inherited traits, things like that. Genetics? But why? I'd have to ask her that. William left the office even more puzzled. Why would Eleanor have consultations about genetics? What kind of concerns did she have during the pregnancy? When he got home that afternoon, he found Grace organizing the closets. Grace, I need to ask you something. How long have you worked here? Since before little Chloe was born, Mr. Harrison. About 10 years now. Do you remember anything strange during Eleanor's pregnancy? Grace stopped what she was doing and looked around, as if to make sure they were alone. Do you remember Maria, the housekeeper who worked here before me? I remember. She was fired suddenly, right at the end of Mrs. Harrison's pregnancy. I never understood why. The poor woman had been here for years. And do you know where she is now? I do. She works at a house nearby in White Plains. Why do you ask? William jotted down the address Grace gave him. The next day, he went to find Maria. He found her sweeping the sidewalk of a modest house. Maria, I'm William Harrison. You used to work at my house. The woman in her 60s looked at him with surprise and a degree of discomfort. Mr. Harrison, how is the little girl? She's fine, Maria. Can I ask you a few questions about the time you worked there? Maria looked around nervously. Sir, I don't want any trouble. There won't be any trouble. I just want to understand a few things. It's about Mrs. Harrison, isn't it? William nodded. I saw a lot of things, sir. Your wife would receive letters that she'd hide from you, and she had strange visitors when you were traveling. What kind of visitors? A woman who looked just like her would always come at night. Can you describe this woman? She was the spitting image of Mrs. Harrison, sir. So much so that at first I thought it was her, but then I realized they were two different people. William felt the ground shift beneath his feet. Eleanor had a sister and received secret visits. Why all the mystery? And the letters, Maria? There were many. Mrs. Harrison would get nervous when they arrived. One day I saw one that had fallen on the floor and she hesitated. And what? It had some test results, sir. From a hospital, but I can't read very well. Do you remember the name of the hospital? I think it was that big one near the city. What's it called? Mount Sinai, or was it another one? Oh yes, it was a private clinic. It said New Life Fertility Clinic or something like that. William thanked Maria and left, his mind reeling. A fertility clinic. Eleanor had undergone some kind of treatment to get pregnant and never told him. That night he waited for Eleanor to fall asleep and went to her office in their bedroom. He rummaged through drawers and files, looking for anything that might make sense. At the bottom of a locked drawer, for which he found the key taped under the desk, he discovered a folder with several documents. There were fertility tests, correspondence with clinics, and a letter signed by someone named Marianne. The letter read, "Sister, thank you for everything. I promise it's for the best for her. You will be a better mother than I could ever be." William read the letter 3 times before he understood. Eleanor had a sister named Marianne, and something involving Chloe had happened between them. The next morning, he confronted his wife with the documents. "Eleanor, who is Marianne?" She turned ashen when she saw the papers in his hands. "Where did you find this?" "Damn, that doesn't matter." "Who is Marianne?" Eleanor sat down heavily on the bed, her hands trembling. She's my twin sister." "Twin sister?" "Eleanor, you told me you were an only child. We were separated as babies. Our parents. Our mother couldn't raise two girls on her own. Marianne was given to a family that didn't work out. She ended up growing up in foster care, and when we reconnected 10 years ago, she was in trouble. She was pregnant and had no way to raise a child. William felt the world spin around him. Chloe is my niece, Marianne's biological daughter, but I've raised her since she was born. She is my daughter. And what about me? You deceived me for 8 years. I didn't deceive you. I just didn't tell you the whole truth. Where is Marianne now? She lives nearby in White Plains. William remembered Maria mentioning the visits from the woman who looked just like Eleanor. She visits Chloe sometimes, but always as a distant aunt. Dear listener, if you're enjoying this story, please take a moment to leave a like and, most importantly, subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out, as we're just getting started. Now back to the story. William left the house without saying where he was going. He drove to White Plains, determined to find Marianne. It was a simple neighborhood, very different from Scarsdale where he lived. He asked at a few local shops about a woman who looked very much like his wife. "Oh, you must mean Marianne," said an old woman selling flowers on the corner. "She lives up on the next street, the yellow house with the green gate." When William knocked on the door, a woman identical to Eleanor answered. The resemblance was uncanny, but Marianne looked thinner, more worn by life. "You must be William," she said without surprise. "You know me?" "Eleanor has told me a lot about you. Please come in." The house was simple but tidy. Marianne led him to a small living room where there were photos of Chloe at various stages of her life. "You love my daughter," Marianne said. "It wasn't a question. Chloe is everything to me." "I know. Eleanor always told me what a wonderful father you are." "Why did you two do this? Why didn't you tell me the truth?" Marianne sighed deeply. "Because I was a disaster, William. I was involved with the wrong man. I was using drugs. I had nowhere to live. When I found out I was pregnant, I thought about..." She paused. "I thought about ending the pregnancy. But Eleanor convinced me not to. She and you had been trying to have children for years, undergoing expensive treatments that weren't working. So you decided she would pretend to be pregnant?" "She didn't pretend. She really was pregnant, but she lost the baby in the 5th month. It was devastating for her." William remembered a time when Eleanor had become reclusive for a few weeks, blaming complications with the pregnancy. "When my daughter was born, Eleanor was still within the time frame where she could explain the baby's early arrival. So she registered Chloe as her daughter. And you just agreed to give up your daughter like that?" Marianne began to cry. "I agreed because I knew I couldn't take care of her. Eleanor, and you could give her everything I never could. A home and education, love, stability. But you still visit her. Eleanor lets me see her a few times a month. Chloe thinks I'm a distant aunt. It's better this way." William remained silent for a long time, processing everything. And Chloe's biological father. He disappeared as soon as he found out I was pregnant. He was an older married man. I never saw him again. Marianne, Chloe is suffering. She heard Eleanor on the phone saying I wasn't her father. She's confused and hurt. I know. Eleanor called me yesterday crying. She was arguing with me because I wanted to tell Chloe the truth. I think she's old enough to understand. And where does that leave me? Legally, I'm nothing to her. You are her father in every way that matters, William. You raised her, loved her, took care of her when she was sick, taught her to walk, to read. When William returned home, he found Chloe doing her homework in the living room. She ran to hug him as she always did when he got home. Daddy, were you sad this morning? A little, honey, but I'm better now. Mommy said you two have some problems, but that you're still my daddy. William looked at Eleanor, who was standing in the doorway. Of course, I'm still your dad, sweetheart. I always will be. That night, after putting Chloe to bed, William and Eleanor talked for hours. She filled in the details she had omitted, including how difficult it had been to make the decision to raise her niece as her daughter. William, when I lost our baby, I thought my life was over. Marianne showed up pregnant and desperate, and it felt like a sign. But you should have told me. I was afraid. Afraid you wouldn't accept raising another man's child. Eleanor, we could have legally adopted a child, but it wouldn't have been family. Chloe is my niece, she has my blood. William understood Eleanor's reasoning, but he was still hurt by the lie. And now? How are we going to explain this to Chloe? Marianne wants to talk to her. She thinks she can understand now. I don't know if that's a good idea. William, the truth always comes out. It's better she learns it from us than finds out by accident. The following weekend, Marianne came for dinner. William watched the interaction between her and Chloe closely. The girl was enchanted by the aunt who looked so much like her mother. Aunt Marianne, why don't you come here more often? Chloe asked. Because I live far away, dear. But I like you very much. I like you too. Do you have any kids? Marianne glanced at Eleanor, who gave a slight nod. I have a very special daughter, but she lives with people who can take better care of her than I can. Why? Because sometimes adults have to make difficult decisions. Thinking about what's best for the children, Chloe seemed to accept the explanation, but William noticed she was pensive for the rest of the evening. The following week, Chloe started asking more direct questions. Mom, why do I look so different from both of you? Honey, we've talked about this, but Aunt Marianne looks a lot like me. More than you do. Eleanor looked at William, who nodded. It was time to tell the truth. Chloe, sit here with us. We need to tell you a very important story. The girl settled between them on the couch. Aunt Marianne is my twin sister. We were separated when we were babies and only found each other again right before you were born. Twin sister. That's why you look exactly alike. That's right. And when you were born, Aunt Marianne wasn't in a position to take care of you, so she asked me to raise you as my daughter. Chloe was silent for a moment. So is Aunt Marianne my real mom? She's your biological mother. But I'm the one who has raised you since you were a baby. Both things are true. And Daddy, William took his daughter's hand. I have raised you since day one. I love you more than anything in the world. I am your father in every sense of the word. But I am not your father by blood. Sweetheart, love isn't about blood. It's about care, affection, and being there. Chloe processed the information for several days. Sometimes she asked questions, other times she was quiet. William and Eleanor respected her need for space. A week later, Chloe asked to visit Marianne. I want to see where my biological mother lives. They all went together to the house in White Plains. Marianne welcomed Chloe with great affection, showing her pictures from when she was a baby. Did you visit me when I was little? Chloe asked. Yes, I did. You were a very smart baby. Why didn't you stay with me? Marianne knelt to be at the girl's eye level. Because I had a lot of problems, Chloe. I couldn't even take care of myself. Your mom, Eleanor, and your dad, William, could give you a much better life. Does that make you sad? Sometimes it does, yes. But I'm also happy because you grew up in a family that loves you very much. Can I call you Mom, Marianne? Marianne started to cry. You can if you want to. And can I still call my mom Eleanor Mom too? Of course you can. You have two moms who love you. On the way back home, Chloe was thoughtful. Dad, am I lucky or unlucky? What do you mean, honey? Said I have two moms. Is that good or bad? What do you think? I think it's good. More people to love me. William smiled, feeling an immense sense of relief. In the following months, Marianne became a more constant presence in Chloe's life. She would come for lunch on Sundays and attend important events, like school plays. But the legal situation still worried William. Officially, he had no rights over Chloe. If something happened to Eleanor, Marianne could get custody of the girl. He decided to consult a family law attorney. Mr. Harrison, you can officially adopt Chloe, but it would require Marianne to relinquish her maternal rights. And if she doesn't want to, then the situation becomes more complicated. By law, she is the biological mother. William talked to Marianne about the adoption. Marianne, I understand your concern. I will sign the papers for you to officially adopt Chloe. Are you sure? Yes, you are her father. I only gave birth to her. The adoption process took a few months, but finally, William received the documents that legally recognized him as Chloe's father. The day the papers were finalized, they had a small party at home. Chloe didn't fully understand the legal significance, but she knew it was important. Now you're officially my daughter forever, William said. Wasn't I before? You were in my heart. But now it's on paper too. Does this mean if you two get divorced, I stay with you? William and Eleanor looked at each other. The question caught them by surprise. Why are you thinking about that, honey? Eleanor asked. Because my friends at school say that when parents fight a lot, they get divorced. We're not going to get divorced, Chloe, William assured her. But if you ever do, I want to stay with both of you. If that ever happens, we'll find a way for you to be with both of us, Eleanor promised. Dear listener, if you're enjoying this story, please take a moment to leave a like and, most importantly, subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out, as we're just getting started. Now back to the story. The truth was that William and Eleanor's marriage had gone through a crisis after the revelations. Trust needed to be rebuilt. They started couples therapy to deal with the issues that had surfaced. During one of the sessions, Eleanor revealed other fears that had made her hide the truth. I was afraid William would leave me if he knew I couldn't have biological children. But we tried for years. We knew there were difficulties, William said. But to admit that the problem was definitively mine, that was different. Eleanor, I love you. Biological children were never a condition for our marriage. Therapy helped them understand that the situation, though difficult, had created a unique and special family. Chloe, for her part, adapted well to the new arrangement. At school, when asked about her family, she would say she had a mom who raised her, a mom who gave birth to her, and a dad who chose her. Marianne also began to rebuild her life. With the support of Eleanor and William, she got a steady job and started a technical course. You gave me a second chance, she said during a Sunday lunch. How so? William asked. Watching my daughter grow up happy gave me the strength to change my life. If it weren't for you, I would have stayed in the same hole. You changed for yourself. Marianne, said Eleanor. I changed because I wanted to be someone my daughter could be proud to have as a biological mother. A year after the revelations, the family had found a new balance. Chloe was more mature and self-assured. William and Eleanor had strengthened their marriage through honesty and forgiveness. Marianne had become a caring and present aunt, while respecting their boundaries. But there was still one question that bothered William. Who was Chloe's biological father? In a private conversation with Marianne, he brought it up. Marianne, don't you think Chloe should know her biological father? No, William. That man doesn't deserve to know my daughter. But she might want to meet him one day. If she wants to, when she's of legal age, I'll tell her who he is, but not before then. He was married, you said. He was. And when he found out about the pregnancy, he offered me money to get rid of the problem. I see. William, you are the only father Chloe needs to know. That man is just a genetic donor. William was satisfied with the answer. He didn't have a morbid curiosity about the biological father. He just wanted to know if he would be a problem in the future. During Chloe's 9th birthday party, William gave a touching speech. My daughter, you taught me that family isn't just about blood. It's about choice, love, and commitment. I choose to be your father every single day. Chloe hugged him tightly. I choose to be your daughter too, Dad. The party was perfect. Marianne was there, naturally integrated as part of the family. William's parents, who were initially confused by the situation, now adored their adopted granddaughter and treated Marianne with kindness. You have a very special family, commented the child psychologist who had been helping Chloe through the adjustment. Why is that? Asked William. Because you managed to turn a complex situation into a demonstration of pure love. A few months later, William and Eleanor decided to formalize everything in their wills. They wanted to ensure that no matter what happened, Chloe would be protected and Marianne would have rights as part of the family. William, can I ask you something? Marianne said during one of the meetings with the lawyer. Of course. Did you ever feel angry at me for creating this situation? William thought for a moment. At first, yes. I won't lie. But then I understood that you did what you thought was best for your daughter. As a father, I respect that. Thank you for not taking me out of her life. Marianne, you're part of our family now. I can't imagine it any other way. 2 years had passed since the discovery. Chloe, now 10, was a confident and well-adjusted girl. She spoke openly about her different family and even helped other children at school who were going through complex family situations. My teacher said I should write about my family for a school project, she mentioned during dinner. And what are you going to write? Eleanor asked. I'm going to write that family isn't just about having the same blood. It's about who loves you and takes care of you. William smiled, proud. What else will you write? That I'm very lucky because I have so much love in my life. One night, William found Chloe looking at old photos on her phone. What are you looking at, honey? Pictures from when I was a baby. Aunt Marianne has some that I hadn't seen. And what do you think of these photos? I think it's funny how tiny I was. And I like seeing Aunt Marianne holding me. Why? Because even though she gave me to you, she loved me. You can see it on her face. William was moved by his daughter's maturity. You're right, honey. She loved you so much that she made a very big sacrifice. Dad, when I grow up and have kids, I'm going to explain to them that love is about doing what's best for someone, even if it's hard. At that moment, William realized that all the pain and confusion of the past years had been worth it. Chloe was learning about true love through her own experience. On William and Eleanor's wedding anniversary, 15 years after they married, and 3 years after the revelations, they renewed their vows. Marianne was Eleanor's maid of honor, and Chloe carried the rings. William, do you take Eleanor as your wife and accept our complex but loving family? The officiant asked. I do, and I wouldn't trade our family for any other. Eleanor, do you take William as your husband and promise to always tell the truth, even when it's difficult? I do, and I promise that our family will always be based on honesty. When they kissed, Chloe shouted, Hooray for my crazy family! Everyone laughed. The family was indeed unconventional, but it was full of love and understanding. A few months later, Marianne met John, a widower with 2 children. William and Eleanor were happy to see her building her own family. Do you think I can introduce John and his kids to Chloe? Marianne asked. Of course, said Eleanor, but take it slow. Let her get used to the idea. When Chloe met John and his 2 children, she was excited about the possibility of having step-cousins. Aunt Marianne, does this mean our family is going to get even bigger? It might if everything works out. Great. I like big families. William watched everything with admiration. Chloe had become a girl who embraced change and new family arrangements with ease. One day at school, another mother commented to William, Your daughter is very mature for her age. You think so? The other day, my son came home confused because his parents are getting divorced. Chloe talked to him and explained that family is who you love. It doesn't matter if they live in the same house or not. She said that. She did. And it really calmed my son down. She has an impressive wisdom about relationships. William told Eleanor, who was very proud. Our daughter has become a family therapist, Eleanor joked. She learned firsthand that family can take many different forms, William replied. At the end of the year, Chloe was chosen to give a speech about family at her 5th grade graduation. Family, she began at the microphone, isn't just a dad, a mom, and kids who look alike. Family is who loves you when you're happy and when you're sad. It's who makes sacrifices for you. It's who chooses you every day. William and Eleanor were in the audience, moved to tears. Marianne was also there, crying with pride. I have a different family, Chloe continued. I have a mom who raised me, a mom who gave birth to me, and a dad who chose me. And they all love me very much. The audience gave a standing ovation. What I've learned is that it doesn't matter how your family is formed. What matters is the love that exists between you. When she came down from the stage, Chloe ran to hug all 3 of them. Did you like my speech? We loved it, sweetheart, said William. So you spoke so well. It's true, agreed Marianne. You are very wise. I learned from you, Chloe replied simply. That night, William reflected on the past 3 years. The discovery had been painful, but the end result was a stronger, more honest family. Eleanor, he said before they went to sleep, thank you. Thank you. For what? For raising Chloe, for giving Marianne a chance, for building this unique family. William, I'm the one who should be thanking you, for forgiving me, for accepting our situation, for being the father Chloe deserves. Do you think we made the right decisions? Look at Chloe, she's happy, confident, loving. I think we did. The next day, William woke up to Chloe jumping on the bed. Dad, I dreamed that our family became a book. A book? Yes, it was the story of a family who discovered that there's no set recipe for love. William laughed. And how did the book end? With everyone happy and loving each other very much. Just like our real life. Exactly, said Chloe, kissing his forehead. 5 years had passed since the original discovery. Chloe was about to turn 13 and had become a mature and well-adjusted teenager. Marianne had married John, and now Chloe had 2 stepbrothers whom she adored. The family had grown, but harmony remained. William, at 45, reflected on how his life had changed. The company was doing well, but he had learned to value family time more. Eleanor, in turn, had dedicated herself to volunteer work with single mothers, helping them find support and resources. "It's my way of giving back," she would explain. Marianne taught me the value of a mother's sacrifice. For Chloe's 13th birthday, William prepared a special surprise. He had created a photo album telling the entire family story, starting from her birth. "Honey, this is a special gift. It's the story of our family." Chloe flipped through the album, seeing photos of herself as a baby, the first time she officially met Marianne, her parents' vow renewal, and many family moments. "Dad, can I keep this forever?" "Of course. And when you have children, you can show it to them. I'll tell my kids that families are built with lots of love and a few surprises." "Surprises?" "Yes, you gave me the surprise of discovering I have 2 moms. Aunt Marianne gave me the surprise of having cousins. And I'll give my kids the surprise of having a family that doesn't follow the normal rules." William laughed. "You've always been wise, honey. I learned from the best family in the world." That night, after the party, William, Eleanor, and Marianne were talking on the porch while Chloe slept. "Do you think she'll want to meet her biological father when she's older?" Marianne asked. "If she does, we'll support her," said William. "But honestly, I think she's happy with the family she has." "William's right," agreed Eleanor. "Chloe is very grounded. She knows who the important people in her life are. Sometimes I wonder if I did the right thing by not telling her who the biological father was," said Marianne. "Why?" asked Eleanor. "Because he really doesn't deserve to know the incredible person she's become. Marianne, you protected Chloe as her biological mother. It was your responsibility," said William. "And as the parents who raised her, you gave her everything I couldn't. We all did our part," Eleanor concluded. 2 years later, when Chloe was a freshman in high school, an unexpected situation arose. During a genetics lesson, she became curious about hereditary traits and asked Marianne about her biological father. "Aunt Marianne, did my biological father have any special traits?" Marianne hesitated. "Why do you ask, dear?" "Dad, I'm doing a project on genetics for school. I wanted to understand where some of my traits came from." Marianne talked to William and Eleanor before answering. "I think we can tell her some basic things," said William. "She has a right to know about her genetic heritage." Marianne told Chloe that her biological father was a tall doctor with blue eyes like hers and was very intelligent. "Is he alive?" Chloe asked. "Yes, but he's not part of our lives." "Can I meet him if I want to?" "When you're an adult, if you really want to, we'll talk about it." "Okay, but I don't want to now. I just wanted to know for my school project." William was relieved to see that Chloe didn't have an obsessive curiosity about her biological father. At the end of high school, Chloe was accepted into college for psychology. She wanted to help families in complex situations, inspired by her own experience. "Dad, I think my family history prepared me to understand that every family is unique." "You're going to be an excellent psychologist," William said, proud. During her high school graduation ceremony, Chloe gave a speech as the class representative. "We grow up learning that family is a father, a mother, and children. But life has taught me that family is much more complex and beautiful than that. Family is who is by your side through difficulties, who loves you unconditionally, who makes sacrifices for you." William, Eleanor, and Marianne were in the audience, proud of the young woman they had raised together. "Today I leave this school knowing that I am the result of the love of many people, and I want to use that knowledge to help other families find their own way." After the graduation, during the party at home, Chloe gathered her family. "I want to thank the 3 of you for creating such a special family. You taught me that there's no set formula for love, that family is built every day, and that the truth, even when it's hard, is always worth it." William hugged her. "Honey, you were the most unexpected gift of our lives, and you were the most special gift of mine," she replied. Marianne, who had been holding back tears, finally let them fall. "Chloe, watching you grow up happy, has been the greatest joy of my life. Thank you for accepting me as part of your family, Aunt Marianne. Thank you for giving me life, and for choosing the best parents in the world for me." Eleanor was also emotional. "Honey, you taught me that being a mother isn't just about giving birth. It's about loving, caring, and being present. And you all taught me that family is built on daily choices of love," said Chloe. That night, after everyone had gone home, William stood on the porch looking at the stars. Eleanor joined him. "What are you thinking about?" she asked. "About how our life changed since that day I found Chloe crying on the curb. It changed for the better. It changed for the perfect. We discovered that family is so much more beautiful when it's built on truth and love, even with all the pain at the beginning. Especially because of the pain, it made us stronger." A few months later, Chloe started college. On her first day, she wrote an essay about personal motivation. "I want to be a psychologist because I grew up in a family that taught me there's no right or wrong way to love. I learned that family is built on honesty, acceptance, and a lot of love. I want to help other people discover that their family bonds, even if they are different, can be sources of strength and happiness." When she showed the essay to William, he was moved. "Honey, you're going to transform many lives with this understanding." "I hope so, Dad. And it all started with our own transformed family." Years passed. Chloe graduated as a psychologist and specialized in family therapy. William continued to be a successful businessman, but now dedicated more time to his family. Eleanor expanded her volunteer work and opened a small NGO to support mothers in vulnerable situations. Marianne and John had a daughter together, giving Chloe a half-sister she adored. On a Sunday family lunch when Chloe was 25, she made a special announcement. "Everyone, I have some news." "What is it, honey?" asked William. "I'm dating someone." "Really?" said Eleanor, excited. "Tell us everything." "His name is Andrew. He's a pediatrician. And when I told him our family story, you know what he said?" "What?" they all asked, curious. "He said he wanted to meet the family that raised such an incredible person." Marianne smiled. "He sounds like a good man." "He is." "And you know why I'm sure?" "Why?" asked William. "Because when I told him I have two mothers and a father who chose me, he didn't find it strange. He said it explained why I have so much love to give." William got emotional. "Honey, we're eager to meet him. You'll meet him next Sunday. I'm bringing him for lunch." "And does he know our family is intense?" Eleanor joked. "He does, and he's excited to meet you." When Andrew met the family, he was impressed by the harmony among them. "Chloe told me your story, but seeing it in person is even more incredible," he said to William. "Why is that?" "Because it's rare to see a family that transformed a complex situation into a demonstration of pure love." William immediately liked the young man. "Andrew, our family teaches that love is built every day. I hope you're prepared for that." "I am, Mr. Harrison, and I hope you'll accept me as part of this special family." "We already have," said Marianne. "Anyone who loves our Chloe is welcome." 2 years later, Andrew proposed to Chloe. The proposal was made during a Sunday lunch in front of the whole family. "Chloe, your family has taught me that true love is made of daily choices. I choose to love you every day for the rest of my life. Will you marry me?" Chloe said yes through tears of happiness. The wedding ceremony was emotional. William walked Chloe down the aisle, but stopped halfway to have Marianne join them. "You two gave me the greatest joy of my life," he said. "It's only right that you give her away together." Marianne, Eleanor, and William walked with Chloe to the altar. The officiant, who knew the family's story, made sure to mention it in the ceremony. Today we celebrate not just the union of Chloe and Andrew, but also the transformative power of family love. This family teaches us that blood ties are important, but the bonds of love are eternal. During her vows, Chloe said, "Andrew, my family taught me that true love manifests in sacrifices, daily choices, and unconditional acceptance. I promise to love you like that for the rest of my life." Andrew replied, "Chloe, your family showed me what it means to truly love. I promise to be for you what William is to them, a partner who chooses to love every day." The reception was perfect. During his speech, William moved everyone. 27 years ago, I found a little girl crying on the sidewalk. At that moment, my life changed forever. Chloe taught me that being a father has nothing to do with DNA. It's about being present, loving unconditionally and making sacrifices. He looked at Marianne. Marianne, thank you for trusting us with your daughter. Thank you for becoming part of our family. Then he looked at Eleanor. Eleanor, thank you for building this family with me, for having the courage to raise a girl who was not biologically ours. Finally, he looked at Chloe. And you, my daughter, thank you for teaching me that family is so much more beautiful when it's built on true love. Chloe stood up and hugged her father. Dad, thank you for choosing me every day of my life. 5 years after the wedding, Chloe and Andrew had a daughter. When William held his granddaughter for the first time, he was overcome with emotion. What's her name? He asked. Marianne Hope, said Chloe. Marianne in honor of my biological mother. And Hope, because she represents the hope for a new generation of our special family. Marianne, who was present at the hospital, cried when she learned her granddaughter would bear her name. Chloe, you didn't have to. I wanted to. You deserve this honor. When they brought Marianne Hope home, the whole family gathered to meet the new member. Who does she look like? Asked Eleanor. She looks like love, said William, just like our entire family. Little Marianne grew up hearing stories about her special family. From a young age, she learned that she had a grandma who raised her mommy, a grandma who gave her mommy life, and a grandpa who chose to love his family. On the little girl's first birthday, Chloe gave a touching speech. My daughter, you were born into a family that learned there is no set recipe for love. You grew up in a family that discovered that the truth, even when it's hard, is always worth it. And you are being raised in a family that knows that daily choices of love build eternal bonds. William, now a grandfather, watched everything with immense gratitude. Marianne, he said, picking up his granddaughter, you are the proof that our special family continues to grow with love. That night, after everyone had gone home, William stood on the porch, as he always did when he wanted to reflect. Eleanor joined him. What are you thinking about this time? She asked. About how that painful moment from years ago turned into the greatest blessing of our lives. Do you regret anything? I only regret that I took so long to discover the truth. We should have talked about it from the beginning. But maybe we weren't ready before. Maybe everything happened at the right time, William reflected. You're right. Chloe was at the right age to understand. We were mature enough to handle the situation. Marianne was ready to be part of the family. And now we have a granddaughter who will grow up knowing from day one that family is made of love, not rules. Our family has become an example, hasn't it? Said Eleanor. It has. Chloe tells me she uses our story in her therapy sessions to help other families. And Marianne always says that meeting other families who have gone through similar situations helped her a lot. William, do you think if we had had biological children, our family would be this special? William thought for a moment. I think it would be special in a different way. But I wouldn't change a thing. Chloe is our daughter in every way that matters. And now we have Marianne as a sister, John as a brother-in-law, his sons as nephews. Our family got huge, William laughed, and full of love. A few years later, when Marianne Hope was 5, she asked a question that amused the whole family. Grandpa Will, why is our family so different from the others? William knelt to her level. Why do you think we're different, my little granddaughter? Because my friend only has one grandma and one grandpa. I have 3 grandmas and 1 grandpa. And is that good or bad? It's very good. More people to give me presents on my birthday, she said, making everyone laugh. Marianne, our family is special because it's made of a lot of love. Some families are small, others are big. Some follow the rules, others create their own. The important thing is love. And our family has a lot of love. We have love to spare, said William, hugging his granddaughter. That night during dinner, Marianne Hope surprised everyone. Mom, when I grow up, I want a family just like ours. What do you mean, sweetie? Chloe asked. I want to have lots of people who love me. I want to choose who will be my family. Honey, you will build your own family however you want, said Andrew. But I want all of you to be a part of it too. William was moved. Of course we'll be a part, granddaughter. Family is forever, even when I'm old like Grandpa. Hey now, William protested. I'm not old, everyone laughed. Even when you're a very old lady, our family will be together, Eleanor assured her. Years passed. William was 60, Chloe was 35, and Marianne Hope was 15 when another unexpected situation arose. During a routine medical appointment, Marianne Hope discovered she had a rare genetic condition that could affect her future health. Is it hereditary? Chloe asked, worried. It could be. We need to run tests on the family to understand it better, the doctor explained. Doctor, our family is complex, said Andrew. Chloe explained the family situation to the doctor, who was impressed. I see. We will need tests from your biological mother as well. Marianne promptly offered to do all the necessary tests. During the process, they discovered the condition came from the paternal side. For the first time in years, the need arose to contact Chloe's biological father. Marianne, can you find him? William asked. I can. I know where he works, but I don't know if he'll want to help. We have to try, said Chloe. It's for Marianne Hope's health. Marianne made contact with Dr. Arthur Vance, Chloe's biological father. He agreed to do the tests, but asked to speak with Chloe. Do you want to meet him? William asked. Yes, I do. Not out of curiosity, but because he might have important information about my daughter's health. The meeting was set at a neutral coffee shop. William insisted on accompanying Chloe. Dr. Vance was an elegant but visibly nervous man in his late 60s. Chloe, first I want to apologize, he said as soon as they sat down. Apologize? For what? For not taking responsibility when your biological mother was pregnant. For offering money to resolve the situation. Dr. Vance, I didn't come here to judge you. I came because I need medical information. I know. But I need you to know that I regret my actions every day, William observed in silence. Do you have a family? Chloe asked. I do. I'm married. I have 2 children. At that time, I was going through a crisis in my marriage and made many mistakes. Do your children know about me? No, I never told anyone. Chloe nodded. Dr. Vance, I grew up in a wonderful family. I had everything a child could want. Love, care, education, stability. I'm glad to hear that. I don't hold any resentment toward you. I understand that at the time you weren't ready to be a father. Thank you for understanding. And regarding the tests, I'll do whatever is necessary. The tests revealed that Dr. Vance had a family history of the same genetic condition. With this information, the doctors were able to devise a preventive treatment plan for Marianne Hope. At least something good came out of this meeting, Chloe commented to William on the way back. How did you feel seeing him? Strange. He's tall like me. He has blue eyes like me, but I didn't feel any emotional connection. And does that bother you? No, it just confirms that family isn't made of genetics. You are my father in every way that matters. William smiled proudly. Thank you, honey. A few months later, Dr. Vance contacted her again. Chloe, can I see you one more time? Of course. Has something happened? I want to tell you something. I told my family about you. How did they react? My wife was upset at first, but then she understood. My children are curious to meet you. Chloe hesitated. Dr. Vance, I have a family. I'm not looking for replacements. I understand. I don't want to take anyone's place. I just wanted you to know that you have half-siblings, if you ever want to meet them. Chloe spoke with William, Eleanor, and Marianne about the situation. What do you all think? Honey, the decision is yours, said William. But remember that you can always expand your family without diminishing the love we have. Could be an interesting addition to our crazy family, Marianne joked. And Marianne Hope might enjoy having more uncles, Eleanor added. Chloe decided to meet her half-siblings. They arranged a casual meeting at a pizzeria. David, 30, and Valerie, 28, were doctors like their father. When they met Chloe, they were struck by the physical resemblances. It's incredible how much you look like us, said Valerie. But you grew up in a completely different family, observed David. Chloe told them her family's story, which fascinated them. Your family sounds very special, said David. It is. Would you like to meet them? We'd love to, Valerie replied. The first meeting between the two families was surreal. Dr. Vance met William, who greeted him politely. William, thank you for raising my daughter, said Dr. Vance. I should be thanking you for giving me the opportunity to be the father of the most special person in the world, William replied. The dynamic between the families flowed naturally. David and Valerie were charmed by Marianne Hope, who gained 2 more uncles. Our family is getting gigantic, commented Marianne Hope during a barbecue at William's house. And is that a good thing? asked William. It's excellent. More people to play catch with, William laughed. The girl had inherited her family's ease with accepting change and new people. A year later, David got married and invited the entire extended family to the wedding. It was moving to see Dr. Vance, William, Eleanor, Marianne, Andrew, and everyone else sitting at the same table. I never imagined I'd one day have such a large and diverse family. Dr. Vance commented to William, "Life teaches us that family can take unexpected forms." William replied, "You don't feel angry at me for abandoning Chloe? Dr. Vance, if you hadn't abandoned her, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to raise her. In the end, everything happened as it was supposed to." During the wedding, Chloe gave a speech that moved everyone. "David, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be your sister. Our family has taught me that it's never too late to expand the bonds of love." She looked at the table, where all the members of the extended family were sitting. "Looking at all of you here, I see that real family is the one we choose every day. Some of you gave me life, others raised me, others chose me as a sister. All of you have taught me that love has no limits." That night, William reflected on how the family had evolved. It began with a painful lie and transformed into a complex network of love and acceptance. "Eleanor," he said on their usual porch spot, "our family has become a living demonstration that love multiplies when it's shared." Who would have thought that the little girl crying on the curb would become the center of such a large and special family? Eleanor replied, "And to think we almost lost everything because of a lie. But the truth set us free and made us stronger." William nodded. "Our story could be a book about family." "Or a movie," Eleanor laughed. "With a happy ending," William added. "The best kind of ending," Eleanor agreed. 2 years later, Valerie also got married, and the family gathered again to celebrate. Marianne Hope, now 18, gave a speech that surprised everyone. "Aunt Valerie, I grew up watching our family expand with love. You all taught me that family isn't a closed circle. It's a circle that can always grow." She looked at the entire family. "I want to thank each and every one of you for building the craziest and most loving family in the world. You taught me that our differences make us stronger, that the truth is always worth it, and that love, when multiplied, becomes even greater." William, now 65, watched his granddaughter with immense pride. "Marianne, you are the proof that our special family continues to grow with wisdom and love," he said. "Grandpa, can I ask you something?" "Of course, granddaughter. Do you regret anything in this whole story?" William thought for a moment. "I only regret wasting time with anger and suspicion at the beginning. I should have embraced the truth sooner. But in the end you got there," said Marianne Hope. "We did. And you are the proof that it was all worth it." That night, the entire family gathered at William's house for one last toast. "What are we toasting to?" asked Andrew. "To the most unlikely and most perfect family in the world," said Chloe. "To the truth that sets you free," added Eleanor. "To the love that multiplies," said Marianne. "To the daily choices to love," said William. "To the future of our crazy family," concluded Marianne Hope. Everyone raised their glasses, and William looked around the table filled with the people he loved. End of story. Now tell me, what did you think of this story about a family built on love? Do you believe that a true family is the one we choose? Leave your opinion in the comments. We'd love to know what you think. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories.